Hello Nintendo Chit Chatters, I'm Eddy for NintendoChitChat.com. Welcome to more tutorial videos of RPG Maker Fes on the Nintendo 3DS. This is our tips, tricks, and ideas tutorial video. Shoutouts to NIS America for providing a copy of the game. And today, guys, we are in our pyramid once again, showing you some more ideas you can do. And let me show you this video really quickly. Let's test play the game, actually, I should say. So this idea came to me when I wanted to have an area kind of blocked off. But not right away. It only happens once you pass it. So here we go. This is pretty cool. So we're starting off in our pyramid right now. And as you walk through here, you know, the arrow's pointing here. So we come down here. And all of a sudden, ooh, an explosion happens, you see? And now there's a wall here. And we, like a big step of the wall here, we can't get back up. We are now blocked in this area. It's a cool little, maybe like a little jump scare in a sense, creating a little bit of effect as you're playing the game in this particular area of my game. Cool little effect you can add to yours, and of course you can create these little things to happen all over your maps and in dungeons. So let's break it down for you. So this idea was just kind of block off a certain area as you're passing by it. And let me see what we have. So we have the events here, kind of copy and pasted, similar to our bombs and everything, as you saw before. And we'll open the event up here. All right, so the event content, the first graphic, though, is empty. Nothing happens. The event content, there is stuff happening, though. We have, in the event content, we have a sound effect for smashing. Then we have the animation. We have the earth kind of animation, like the dirt kind of falling. That's kind of cool, I guess. Then we have a switch on it too. Okay, and that switch will activate on page 2. And of course this starts here when the character touches. Alright, so page 2 is very important. Now we have our graphic, we have the wall showing up here. So it's not there at first, it's totally invisible, which is cool. So it was only triggered once you walk over the event area, little tile on the game, and then it's triggered. Page 1 happens and page 2. Then we have the wall appear. So there's our graphic. This matches our inside of our pyramid. We have that there. I suppose I could add a top layer to it too, as we added and filled in the wall for our bombs. So I may do that eventually to actually fix this, because this idea came first before actually blowing up the bombs, with the wall with the bombs. Cool. So there's a switch. No event content on page 2. And again, starts when character touches. So again, this is a bit reversed from the bombs in the sense that there's no graphic. Page 2 has the wall then. So nothing happens until the animation sound effects, and then you're walking past it and the wall looks to fall, basically. That's the idea I have for this. And that's copied and pasted across from here to here, okay? Pretty cool. So again, test playing this for you guys. We'll do that really quick. All right, from the beginning. So again, these are just some ideas, some tricks and tips for you, suggestions, ideas. And there we go. Now, if they try to come back here, you can't go back. So it's kind of a cool thing. You could add a few of these in a dungeon area or some kind of cave entrance or something like that, or a house if you wanted to, almost anywhere. And in fact, we have it elsewhere in our game too. I'm sure you've seen that if you've been watching our Let's Create series. We have another one set up in the Brenham Underground area. Cool. And this is just kind of for special effects, a little bit more or less. All of these little silhouettes here are the same event, copied and pasted over on the same switch as well. So once it happens, they're all done. We'll put our little encounter here. Actually, I should say we're going to put our event here, set up initial position, test play it for you guys, and show you what it's like. All right, down there, cool. All right, so this idea here is you're underground. And my idea was to kind of create like a little bit of an earthquake or the earth shaking, causing these rock formations to kind of fall from maybe the ceiling of the cave area down to the ground, creating a path you kind of have to walk and navigate around. That was my idea. So maybe you guys can maybe expand upon that in your game. Let me know if you do. So here we go. All right. So once you come out here, wherever you walk into one of those silhouettes, we have the shaking, the sound effects, and now these big rock formations fall to the ground. And they're kind of freaky at first, like what happened there? Oh, got a bunch of them there, all falling and kind of creating a cool little atmospheric effect in our cave area. So just some more ideas for you guys as far as the walls kind of appearing and and blockading off a section, or just for special effects here, causing a little bit of an earthquake as you're underground here too. Adding a little bit more depth, I think, to gameplay and having some fun with it too. Okay, we'll back out of here. Now I'm going to show you one more little tip and strategy for you guys on this tutorial video. Let me show you, actually, before we do that, let's go to the edit map really quick. Let me show you. It's the same event as the wall, basically, but I will show you how this is set up too. In this case, again, you have nothing for the graphic for the first page. Event content could be special effects, screen movements, sound effects. There's our switch. And then page 2, page conditions is the switch. Event content, nothing. Then we have our graphic that would appear there, and there's part of our graphic there. And we have one for the top of that formation, and then one for the bottom too, copied and pasted all about our areas here, okay? So that's the setup of the event. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Again, you can add dialogue, other effects, other animations if you want to. It's really upon what you want to do for your game, okay? And all of these are copy and paste. This is the top part, this is the bottom part, top and bottom, top and bottom. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of areas of rock formations falling down onto the gravel here on the floor of our underground dungeon. Cool. All right, let's head out, guys. Let's go to an area here. We're going to go into a map. Let me see here. Let's go to Nandoi Village. All right, so here we have a big pool of water. And if you guys noticed, go to Edit Map here. Of course, you can't do collision on the overworld, unfortunately. A tip for the overworld, by the way, if you want to make certain areas of the overworld not being able to be traversed or not being able to be navigated by the characters playing the game, if you have trees that they can walk into on the overworld, but you don't want them to go into those trees, let me show you what you can do really quick. I'll head back out of this map into my overworld. Before we get into that, there we go. So again, you can't use collision in the overworld map, but you can get around it. So again, collision here is grayed out. You can't use collision here. But let's say you have, for some reason, you have an area you don't want somebody to go, right? I do, actually. I have that over here. You can use bigger mountains. So in this case, we have these big mountains and a small mountain blocking off the area. We have that rock formation and the lake around here, or the river, I should say, around here. And you can't access anything down in this section down here because these mountains are blocking off. You can't navigate through that on the overworld map, okay? And this bridge here, when you're playing my game, isn't there, so keep that in mind too. So if you have trees like these here, you can move through those because there's no collision on those, and you can't change the collision, but what you could do is use the bigger trees here in place of the smaller ones, because you can't move through the bigger trees. So smaller mountains you can't move through either, and the big mountains you can't move through. So use big mountains, small mountains to block off some areas, and in the case of the trees, you can use bigger trees in place of the smaller trees to kind of help create a path for your people when they're playing the game. Just some tips for you, okay? Hope that makes sense, because there's no collision there. So let's go back to our village here. And speaking of traversing water, let me show you guys this too. We had some comments on this too. So some tips, tricks, and ideas for you here. Actually, let's go to the village itself. It's the Nandoi home. All right, here is the village. There we go. Here's the village. So we have a big pool of water here. All right, so we go to a collision, and we can't take collision off of the water. Some of these areas where there's a tree you can take off, you see. There's a tree here, you can take the collision off of there. If you have like a lava pit too, some of the areas on the edges of the lava pits or the edges of the water sometimes have some gravel, which you can remove the collision on. But you see the bulk of this water, you can't remove collision. So if you want the effect of the players walking through like a swamp area, or even walking in the water for some reason, you can make it happen. Now watch what we do here. You can go to Edit Map. I gave this answer in comments before. I'm not sure if I ever showed it to you on a tutorial video, so here's some tips and tricks, guys. Let's go to our decorations. We're going to find a weed. Okay? find a very small weed. There we go. If you add weeds, some random like lily pads or weeds or whatever, you're now adding a layered asset on top of the water, which means there is no collision there because those weeds automatically have, by default, no collision on them. Now you can check the collision and you can create a path now through here for the person to navigate, you see? So they can navigate up here and down through here, like this, all the way through. So they can come in here, down through here, up here, like a little maze. Kind of like a secret passage, you see? Now if we would play that, our character can move right through this little area here with no X's, all the way through, up, down, through there, and around back over to the other side of the water. Pretty cool. Now, I know it's kind of weird having all of those little weeds there, but what you could do is just, you know, kind of scatter them around like I did there, maybe a little bit less of them, and create your collision. You can add collision, like I said, on those weeds, or by default, it's already off, okay? Cool. And the other thing you can do is this too. Since that weed is probably one of the smaller ones too in the game, let me fix this. We gotta find that water. Alright, let's find, it's gonna be a while till I find this water tile. Which water was that? I'm not even sure. There we go. I think it was this one here. Yep. Okay, so let's take these little weeds off really quick. So you can use different assets basically to layer on top of these water or lava pits that have the collision on by default and are locked on, and use the weeds to basically create no collision so you can walk through. The other thing you can do is this. Use a smaller asset, okay? You have these little shadows here which you can use, like this here. It does show up though, kind of weird, looks kind of odd, so maybe not use that at all. The best thing to do would be using the vine. The bottom part of the vine is so tiny that it's like a speck. And you can add this little speck around here. Now, it does show up. I mean, you can easily see it, right? But it's not much of an eyesore as the weed. Maybe you can mix and match so it doesn't look as crazy as that. We'll put them all around here, you know, in every square or tile. But again, go to a collision here. Now look, there's no collision by default on that little part of the vine. This is the bottom part of the vine. But now you still have a little pathway through here, all the way across. If I would have put one there, you could have it across then to that side of the area, okay? So this is just a way you can traverse the water. Again, you can do it by water or lava. If you have a moat around a castle, you could possibly do that as well by creating this little area for people to walk around or something like that. So just some thoughts for you guys, but this is the way you get around, kind of a workaround. Delete all of these off here because this map here I'm actually using in my game. There we go. Yep. Go back on and do that. Cool. Delete this off. So some more tips and ideas for you guys as far as this is concerned. Again, you can't remove the collision from these areas of water, unfortunately, so you can get around it by doing this. So hopefully that helped you out and gave you some ideas of what you could do for your maps. So that ends this tutorial, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Eddy Ray for NintendoChitChat.com. Give me a nice like button on this video, and we'll see you back here next time. See you guys.